This week on Around the Monitor, Blizzard tries to silence political speech against China. Stay a while and listen. Get ready to go Around the Monitor.
Let's go.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Around the Monitor for the week of October 11th. I'm your host, King Kaiser, and this is the weekly gaming news talk show where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. If you like our show, you can catch us live every Thursday on twitch.tv/King Kaiser at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We post an edited version on iTunes and YouTube the following day, as well as other video essays on gaming history, gaming topics, and the like. If you like this, you can also contact us and talk to us on Discord, where we actively talk through the week's news in gaming, as we're about to do right now. So I'm not even going to do deals of the week this week. I want to get right into it because I think we have probably one of the biggest topics that we've had in a while, and everybody's actually going to get a chance to talk about it today. But joining us again, we've got Master Hand Mizuki.
This is probably
no,
weird,
it works.
Free Hong Kong.
What does the hashtag say?
We've got the fanciest boy in the land, Dapper Dastard.
Have you guys ever had one of these before? It's crazy. You can turn it over and the ice cream stays up.
Wow.
But this is the kind of Blizzard that I support.
Dude, you just got 10, I'm giving you a point before we even start the damn show. Holy shit, that was good.
It would have been better if it hadn't started melting.
We've got the snapshot crack shot, the Fisher King.
I present you several quotes from Blizzard games. Every voice matters. Stronger together. The world needs more heroes. Overcome all obstacles. Heroes never die. You are not alone. Our world is worth fighting for. And of course, cease your resistance.
And last but not least, joining us again, we've got Remarkable Me.
Honestly, guys, I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, they did pretty much everything they had to do to keep above water. Don't look at. Oh shit!
It's a Blizzard shill money for anybody who couldn't see that.
It absolutely.
But let's sorry. So once again, the trivia question for this week relating to all the Blizzard controversy we're about to get into here. At its peak, how much money was World of Warcraft raking in per month on subscriptions alone? At its peak.
So you cut out once again.
At the very top of the player base, how much money was World of Warcraft raking in only on subscriptions?
Peak Warcraft income based on subscription.
Is that what you said? Peak?
Yeah.
I've
never played WoW. How much does membership cost?
Membership is $15 a month.
Unless you pay in bulk.
Unless you play in bulk, or you can pay for WoW tokens using in-game gold. But
Is that in dollars or
Dollars.
yuan?
God
The Chinese
damn it.
currency?
God damn it.
Or Hong Kong?
That was very good.
Started yet.
That was very good.
Oh God. You know what? I'm gonna say they make around.
Like 4 apps just opened on my computer at once.
I'm gonna say they make between 10 to 15 million. I'm gonna go.
Wait, but
Yes,
you said
yes.
peak.
At their peak,
Oh, that's 150.
Peak question. Peak per month or peak per year?
month. Peak per month.
Okay,
Per month,
thank you.
per month.
Per month. Yeah.
All right, Remarkable Me
100
is at 150 million.
I'll go next. I'll say 158 million.
In the ballpark.
I'll go 110 million.
I'm gonna go 200 million.
That means Yeah,
was the biggest game in the world at one time.
winner then, because the correct answer is 180 million per month. So that puts
I think that means
Fisher, then
I think that's
Mizuki,
Fisher, yeah.
then Remarkable
20,
Me,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Dapper. We will honor that later in the show, but first, okay, so obviously the big news article for this week, Blizzard's big fuck up, basically, is what I'm going to call it. I'm going to give a quick summary of it, and then we're going to kind of go around. I've got specific questions I kind of want to pitch towards everybody, but this is kind of my general wrap up in about a paragraph. So earlier this week, there was the Hearthstone World Tournament. Blitz Chung, a professional player, was giving an interview after one of his matches. He then came into the interview wearing a mask in solidarity with the Hong Kong protesters, and at the end of the interview said, quote, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." Blizzard then removed his prize money from the tournament and gave him a 1-year suspension from competing in tournament play and professional play. It should be noted that previous bans have been placed on other players for racist speech, but were for much shorter periods of time. In addition to this, the casters conducting the interview, who instantly ducked their heads away and out of the camera as soon as he said the statement, were also fired. Blizzard cited their official competition rules, which read, quote, "Any act that, in Blizzard's sole discretion, brings you into public disrepute, offends a portion or group of the public, or otherwise damages the Blizzard image," end quote. Blizzard employees have spoken out against this, including a walkout held yesterday. And Blizzard's subreddit was actually shut down to combat a deluge of criticism towards the company. So far, no public response has been issued by Blizzard. Now, I know we did just decide an order, but I want to actually start with Dapper, because I believe out of all of us, you're the most familiar with the NBA's similar snafu this week. And I would like to hear your kind of comparison between the two, how the NBA handled it differently, and kind of what you think Blizzard could do in a similar fashion. Because I think the NBA is coming out of this looking a little bit cleaner than Blizzard is. Take it away.
Okay. So as you mentioned, this is actually the second major group who has gotten trouble, who has gotten themselves into some public hot water over the Hong Kong protest. The general manager of the NBA basketball team, Houston Rockets, also at one point a few weeks back had tweeted something in support of the Hong Kong protest. The owner of the Rockets immediately basically made a public statement sort of condemning his statement and stating that he does not speak for the Houston Rockets. We fully love and support our Chinese fans. So, and then soon after that, though, when the bad press started coming in, the commissioner of the NBA, Adam Silver, made a statement generally saying that at the end of the day, he supports GMs or anyone's right to say what they believe regarding politics. Since then, the NBA has lost over half of its partnerships with Chinese companies. The Rockets are completely blacklisted from China, and the NBA recently canceled a Lakers-Nets friendly game that was going to be happening in China. So when we look at the two, the big difference is that the NBA tried to walk back, somewhat at least. It's still really sketchy because a lot of NBA players, guys who are usually very socially conscious, like LeBron James, have huge partnerships and deals with Chinese corporations. So a lot of people who are usually very on touch with social issues are suddenly silent. But the big thing is that Silver did, at the end of the day, defend players' right to make a political statement. Whether that means a lot is tough to say, because there have recently been reports of players getting thrown out of arenas for trying to bring in
it just happened in Philadelphia this week, which is so wild to me.
Two or three different games had reports of people who either brought in signs and either had them taken away, with one person claiming they were removed from the arena. So it's a little up in the air where the NBA truly is going to stand on this, which contrasts with Blizzard, who has just gone radio silent. The closest thing they have to a statement is some people think they found a statement made to China that was translated to basically say, we love and support our Chinese fans, and it was horribly offensive that that guy said that. So Blizzard, at best, is radio silent in America. At worst, is completely kowtowing to its Eastern audience.
Which is similar to the NBA thing where, Purge, you probably can correct me on this, but didn't the English translation and the Chinese translation of the two press releases sound very different in terms of like tone?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Well, we'll get more to kind of discussing the complications of this. Fisher, this is my question for you. Actually, no, sorry. Let's jump to Mizuki here. Is the best strategy here to do nothing? Kind of what they're doing now, basically. Will the public forget this? Will gamers forget this so that they can continue on and make money in China? Because the alternative is that they make a statement saying, oh, we were totally wrong, but by doing so, they're going to lose any of the, the money and the support they have from China.
So, is this to me?
Man, oh man,
I didn't even hear the question.
That was to Mizuki.
Okay.
What was the question? Sorry, can someone repeat that, please?
Basically, yeah.
So I can repeat it. Your mic's still cutting out for us, Kaiser. Essentially, it was that. My brain just farted.
What is Blizzard's plans going? What should Blizzard's plans be going forward? What do you think
basically,
they're going to do?
Blizzard's been really quiet. Is that the way to go? Will gamers forget, or will gamers continue to hold their feet to the fire? Essentially, so it sure as hell does not seem like gamers are going to forget. I honestly think this is lasting longer than the EA loot box crap from like a year or two ago. Like I feel like that lasted a day or two and that was gone, and it sure is the Blizzard stuff is not going away. People are still giving them shit on Twitter, on Reddit, on Instagram, on literally every single platform. Us right here today giving them shit on a stream, every single one of us in a way, shape, or form, and I don't think that's gonna relent. And even news podcasts and stuff are still giving them shit. Who was it? Like Kind of Funny, I saw on Instagram, had like a quote unquote unboxing video earlier today that was just a piece of paper on a World of Warcraft 15th anniversary box that said like Free Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Age. So no, I don't think anyone's gonna forget. People are actively opposing Blizzard more than I've seen for any other.
Yeah, I mean Blizzard is a company that is largely loved.
2 stuff. I wouldn't go that far. I think they've been.
Not as a company.
I would not go that far.
As a game developer,
that's fair.
That's
a good
company.
point.
I would say absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
I would say
they're reviled as a company.
Developer, yes. As a company, I would say yes until the past like 2 or 3 years. I think they were at least positive or neutral. Past couple years, they've been slowly skewing more and more negative as people have surmised that Activision's becoming more involved. No one's gonna forget. This is gonna keep going. No one's forgetting Hong Kong, which is part of it too. There's a lot of political strife going on there that's still relevant. There's still videos coming out on the daily of violence and like police brutality and Chinese police forces and military forces executing Uyghur Muslims. Like that's not gonna go away. And now Blizzard's name is tied to that. They have a black spot on their image. BlizzCon is in 3 weeks.
I'm gonna
that.
I think November.
I'm gonna cut you off on that because my question is to Fisher King. BlizzCon is in 3 weeks. What's gonna happen there? They have to address something by then, surely. And if they don't, what can we expect from them? What can we expect from fans at BlizzCon?
The question was basically what's going to happen to BlizzCon. Is that the gist of it? All right, cool. I mean, they're not going to mention this. Of course, they're not going to mention this. Why the fuck would they mention this? Here's the thing: the NBA is a massive publicly traded entity that like every single team has PR. Every single person in that company has a PR rep basically, and they are a massive, huge social thing that is interacted with. And basketball season's right here. It starts next week, 2 weeks, whatever. They had to make a statement. They're not making a statement was absolutely not an option for the NBA. Blizzard doesn't have to make a statement, or at least they don't think they have to, because I guarantee you the thing is, oh, it's just nerds. It's fine. We can just don't worry about it. They're nerds. We can move on. Which is wrong. It's tremendous. My thought is that they are just not going to mention it. They're going to hope that radio silence works and that people will find something else to be mad about, which most people will, and they'll move on. There is a very large percent of people that have already paid for their BlizzCon ticket. They've already booked their flight. They've already booked their hotel. They are going to go, well, I already spent the money. I'll go anyway. I just won't buy anything. I just won't like support any further. But I'm still going to go. I already paid for it. Which are cowards and idiots, but that's fine. There is a much smaller group of people. There's a large group of people that are just going to say, fuck it, and not go to BlizzCon. Good choice. There's a very small group of people that are going to go to BlizzCon, make a tremendous scene, possibly get arrested, and that I thoroughly don't think that all of the like brilliant protesting using May as a Hong Kong image, which I think is actually the smartest bit of protesting I've seen in my entire life. It's a bold statement. It's that or like fuck the police. Like it's two of the most in my minds. Like
modern call for modern solutions.
Exactly, prick. I think that what's going to happen is that there will be people that will show up, either hiding Hong Kong flags or like hiding other memorabilia, which they will whip out during times when the camera cannot cut away. Things like the opening ceremony, for example, or people will ambush QAs. Which I actually don't think we're going to see a single QA at BlizzCon this year.
Pre-screen questions only.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
I could see someone running and grabbing a microphone.
I can confirm that's already on the thought docket for Blizzard.
Yeah,
interesting.
Is pre-screen QA question.
They're not going to do a live Q&A. It will be pre-screened, pre-approved questions only. There's no chance they let people talk freely.
Either way, the people will most likely be checked very heavily at like the door for any Hong Kong anything. People will still find a way to get it through. Don't worry. Which will lead to a lot of Twitter posts complaining that they wouldn't let me bring a Hong Kong flag and they wouldn't let me bring a sign in, stuff like that. Either way, I think that is going to be the thing where Blizzard on their biggest stage of the year, which is their terrible press conference for a shitty company, the Hong Kong problem will reappear, and that will be the thing that 100% seals them off. China will drop them like a lead fucking weight.
And last but not least, Remarkable Me, since this whole Blizzard brouhaha has happened, Epic Games, never one to miss out on possible good PR, popped up and said the owner of Epic said Blizzard would never ban a player for political speech, and then it's strong fans of free speech. One, how sincere is this? Because obviously they're not in hot water for this right now. But two, Epic is owned 40% by Tencent, the Chinese company that also owns only 5% of Blizzard. So maybe they mean it. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I'm actually really glad I got that question.
Okay.
I'm so glad I got that question. All right, so you touched on it a little bit. You can say anything you want when you're not in the hot seat. Obviously, Blizzard is in the hot seat. However, the biggest difference is that, yes, Epic is owned 40% by Tencent, a Chinese company. However, the majority of it is still owned by Tim Sweeney, I believe he's the CEO of Epic. They are not a publicly traded company. They do not have to bow down to their shareholders. Activision Blizzard is. So there's actually a legal precedent for why Blizzard would choose to stay silent. And like I said before the show, is I'm going to slightly shill. I don't think what they did is right by any stretch of the word, but I do understand why they did it. Because their legal priority is to their shareholders. So anything that they do that could harm the earnings of their shareholders could get them in legal hot water. So if they were to do something that would get all of Blizzard's IPs banned in China, that would lose the company billions of dollars just from China dropping them, and then billions more possibly ruining the company in lawsuits against them. So you kind of have to take into account the fact that they have their responsibility to not only their fans, but also to their shareholders, because they're a publicly traded company. Epic is not a publicly traded company, so basically Tim Sweeney can say whatever the hell he wants.
Just like our good friend Randy Pitchford.
That's right. Randy Pitchford has no problem saying whatever he wants. I believe is Gearbox also not publicly traded? I don't think it is.
I think they're private.
Yeah, Gearbox is private. Yeah.
They're private, but the publisher of most of their games Take-Two.
I always mess up Take-Two and 2K.
Yeah. I feel like Take-Two owns 2K.
That would be wild.
I don't.
Because then they would also own
Is that
GTA,
incorrect?
which is crazy.
I feel like Take-Two 2K is actually too big for that, just because like that's all of the sports games.
They do in fact own 2K.
What?
I knew it. I knew it.
Take-Two directly owns Rockstar and 2K.
Most powerful publisher of our time.
Yep. Take-Two is the
Publisher of our time.
I'll show for Take-Two. What are they doing?
All right.
Surprisingly, only behind EA and Activision Blizzard in terms of publicly traded game companies.
I personally, and I think all of us really can't wait to see how this shakes out. Because especially with BlizzCon coming up, I think, like you were saying, Fisher, a lot of crazy shit can happen. I don't think people are going to forget about this. The response on the internet has been pretty strong so far.
People will.
Yes,
people will, but I think enough people won't. That's the important thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
A large amount of people have already forgotten, which is disgusting,
Yeah.
but it's just how the world works today.
Yeah, this has staying power beyond the normal video game based controversies that tend to pop up and die down. This is a
It was
lot
on the
more
front
staying
page of the Wall
power.
Street Journal today.
I have a quick question
Sure.
for the entire panel. So the tensions in Hong Kong have been going on for a while now. Was everyone aware of the stuff in Hong Kong?
I listen to
friends that
NPR.
live in Hong
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure, because I feel like the majority of at least America has not really been too aware of this. I mean, I watched the Philip DeFranco show, and he brings up Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, most people probably know it exists, but they probably have no idea about the extradition bill that started it, or how things have evolved. They know that-
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
They know that something's going on, but they probably don't know the particulars.
That's I had to
Yeah.
explain
Why
the
it
extradition bill
started,
to my
what the demands
coworkers.
are, what they're fighting for, let alone the geopolitical climate that controls that area.
Yeah, I do think, if anything, though, this entire situation with Blizzard, and to a lesser extent the NBA, but people aren't as mad about the NBA. This has probably brought it to the forefront of people's minds a lot more than it would have otherwise. I mean, it was going to happen to a company no matter what, because China has their hands in literally everything. It just so happened to be Blizzard that made the cat.
A testament to how big this is you actually had Better or Worse and Ted Cruz make similarly sounding tweets.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There should be nothing in this world that gets Ted Cruz and Better or Worse on the same page. And somehow the NBA and Blizzard fucking found a way to make it happen.
And there were multiple senators and congressmen.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just Beto and Ted Cruz.
That's just the funny one, because of the most diametrically opposed Texas politicians I could think of.
Yeah, seriously. But it's like, to point to the NBA thing also, it's like the NBA wasn't really given a choice. Like they tried to kowtow to China and like was still told to fuck off, which makes it easier for most people to be like, oh, I can forgive the NBA because now it's a very simple us versus China. That's an easy thing for most people to comprehend. But like us, most people versus Blizzard with China is like, so it's just more complicated for people, and it's like it issues a more guttural disgust, because people are like, you're supposed to be on our side but you're not, kind of thing. Which is not a good way of thinking in general, because it causes massive political problems, but in this case I'm willing to allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that you would have to think of though is that putting on my Blizzard shill. Hold on, let me get my Blizzard shill money once more. Blizzard is probably taking time to think of what they can do. Obviously, the Chinese response was set out very quick, but they have offices in
For
China.
sure.
Like those people who work for Blizzard would be in legitimate
Very
danger
true. Very true.
if Blizzard if they say the wrong things. Like
No,
their lives are literally at stake if Blizzard comes out and says "fuck."
Blitzchung spoke out. I mean, that's his decision, not a company's decision to make, but still.
And
though he is in Hong Kong.
Let's also clarify something.
But they have offices in Hong Kong as well. They have offices
Central Blizzard is not likely the ones that made this decision either.
That's fairly true.
Like, let's be realistic here. This was probably Blizzard Taiwan, Blizzard China making this decision before consulting the main branch. Like, as much as I'm also mad about it, and they're still responsible, I don't think the knee-jerk reaction that was the firing of the casters and the fines to the player, I doubt that was Central Blizzard.
It doesn't matter. You're a publicly traded, massive, across the world company.
And that's what I meant. Like, I don't necessarily think it absolves them of what has happened. They're still responsible for that decision, but it's like maybe a bit better.
I agree with that. Pridge, I have a question for you, like a legal question. Firing those two casters, that's super illegal, right?
That depends on their
maybe not their
contract.
Oh, it's true. If they were at will.
If you're an at-will employee, as long as it's not based on race, then no, you can fire people for anyone. It's
based on political views, though. No, it's not. They didn't express their views.
Exactly. You can just say they failed their level of conduct by. I don't know what Blizzard wanted them to do. Immediately proclaim their love of China.
They went to an ad 2 seconds later.
Yeah, it's
literally the one because the one of the guys like made a statement where he was like, yeah, like they asked us to interview him. We didn't even know he was going to be wearing like a mask, and then as soon as he said it, the one guy like ducks his head like behind a monitor. And he grabs the other guy's head and dumps it too. Like, don't be on the camera. Don't be on the camera.
Yeah, honestly,
I did see that lawyer that was like, that clause was not in the waiver he signed before the tournament. That is ridiculous bullshit. You cannot deny him of his winnings. So I hope that is a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit that they lose.
I mean, because what you got to look at, though, what you got to look at is like if he had made a political statement of any other variety, is he getting this kind of punishment? And you know the answer is no.
He's getting a lesser punishment.
Yeah, he get a private reprimand or like a censor or something. But that's just how you know that like.
I don't know. It is China. If he said trans rights, it might not have gone well.
Right. That's why Blizzard's attempt to justify that they had a rule in place is the most bullshit thing ever. Do you know if he said, I support Greta Thunberg, save the world, he's getting at most a public reprimand, and that's it.
Well, and that was one of the big arguments.
Maybe a reduction in.
Yeah, something small, but there's no way this shit. This shit would have gone this direction.
That was one of the major arguments that people are mad about. Is previous like Overwatch players have said like hate speech and racist things in the past, and gotten like half a dozen game bans and a fine.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, nope, you're done for a year.
And
GG,
Blitzchung has said, like,
peace,
dude. I
dude.
mean, I probably won't play anymore because a year is a long fucking time. Like, there's no point.
I mean, why would you want to go back to Blizzard, even if it's paycheck? How could you even stand to go back there knowing that they're gonna throw you under the bus unless you fucking obey their beck and call?
Oh, I was under the impression, and I think his statements since that have made the sense as well that like he was expecting to be banned for what he said.
Yeah, he 100% knew what he.
Yeah. He had, and I don't think he had an intention of if he was punished giving
which really makes Blitzchung all the more a badass.
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking badass.
He's a fucking badass.
He basically said, "Keep your blood money, go fuck yourself," which I'm more than happy to support.
Ballsy, and a massive respect for that.
Yeah, and whatever game he goes and plays next, I guarantee you, he just got a massive following of people that support what he says. I just hope he leaves the
who knows?
state.
God damn, what? Yeah, oof. All right, let's.
Oh wait, none of the airports work.
Let's move on to this topic because I think I have a strong feeling we're gonna come back to it next week as this story develops more. Because it's not gonna end anytime soon. Keep tearing them
pretty
in,
true.
says Green 8 Ball. All right. I believe the order of choosing here is Fisher, Mizuki, Remarkable Me, and Dapper. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Fisher, where would you like to go next on our list of topics? I'm not going to.
Of lists?
Sorry. No,
didn't even hear that.
I'm not going to this week because there's so many, and I only want to do one round, so we're gonna skip half of them anyways.
Okay. Let's talk about Google Stadia will reportedly have negative latency.
It's such
Everyone
a
wanted
good
this topic. It's
dreams
amazing.
topic.
I don't want it. You're
I
right.
also we need a nice bit of levity
Palate cleanser.
after that.
All right, tell us about
madness.
Google Stadia's negative latency, please.
So this, I can summarize this topic super quickly, so I'll do it for the people. Some rep from Google Stadia came out and said that the console would have negative latency. It's not a thing. It's not a thing that exists. So my boss said at work, I work for a production company. He told me that he used to have a boss that would explain how he wanted things to be in a scene or in a shot or in a movie with no knowledge of how to make it happen. He once told my boss he wanted this scene to be like a Dalmatian. There was no dogs in the scene. There was nothing regarding dogs in the scene. It was like an ad reel thing for like a corporate company. But he was talking about like the lighting and the mise en scène. And he's like he wanted it to be like a Dalmatian, just complete utter disconnect from what things mean and how the world that you work in, your career actually functions. This is that. This is exactly that. They could have walked out on stage or they could have told this person literally anything. Google Stadia will cure cancer. Google Stadia will fire lasers into space that make rainbows. Negative latency. I don't think that even works on a space-time continuum sense. I think that would break time.
It's it's some of those
so good. Latency, for full clarification, latency is what happens when I push a button and how long it takes for the system to register that button. That's longer for wireless things, like they would take a longer amount of time because it has to go through space. Negative latency would mean that before I push this button, they've realized it.
They basically said in the article that they intend to somehow figure out when a player is about to jump in a game, and then just make that choice half a second before you would. A lot of people, the best meme to come out of this is people are saying, "Wait, so the game is going to push F to pay respects for me?" Which I
also really love the line in the article that says it's talking about how we think in a few years time with some technology streaming consoles can be faster and more accurate than regular consoles.
Yeah.
What?
Did they just confirm that Google Stadia is actually a quantum computer?
Google Stadia is a time machine, motherfuckers.
Oh
my god, Google Stadia is a time machine.
Oh my god.
Let's just let's just use buzzwords everywhere. Machine learning, artificial intelligence. We're gonna play the game for you, so you don't have to.
There's a fucking awesome clip from Shark Tank where someone walks in and they say machine learning, and one shark goes, "I'm out." Instantly, just nope, done. Stop.
All right, Mizuki, you're up next. Which topic would you like to choose?
Oh shit! I wasn't thinking what topic I want to do.
I'm bummed because I don't think anybody's gonna pick the Shawn Layden topic. That's important. Yeah.
Nah, I don't care that much.
I was thinking about it, but
all right.
Yeah,
fuck
it. We're gonna do it.
There you go.
Shawn
Pressure
Layden.
into it.
Let's go. You can pressure me into damn near anything.
So Google Stadia. Take it away.
All right. So Shawn Layden departs Sony, announced by a tweet from Sony, but not Shawn Layden. So this is actually a little older than most of our other news stories. I believe this happened late, last week at some point. So Shawn Layden, the head of Sony SIE Studios, so Sony Interactive Entertainment, he essentially oversaw all Sony first-party studios, including So like Santa Monica Studio, Bend, those are the two that come to mind immediately. But
yes.
big games, and probably like
Yes.
Spider-Man since they were publishing that one. But not necessarily Insomniac itself until now. So like he just essentially left mysteriously. He's been at Sony for like 30 fucking years. Like he started from
Now he's
literally
here.
the bottom, worked his way up to head of SIE Studios over the course of 30 years, and he just mysteriously departs. That is the most bullshit thing I've ever seen. There is no fucking way he's just leaving Sony after 30 years, not saying a word. Sony doesn't have anything like, oh, thank you so much for your service. You've made so many changes here. This has been so great. Enjoy retirement. Whatever the fuck. Nah. They either fired him or he walked the fuck out the door day up. So there was some sort of sketchy shit, which is making me even more concerned for the PS5 generation of games, where my assumption, this is personal bias coming into that, is that either he or Sony gave the other an ultimatum of this needs to happen or I'm out, or this needs to happen or you're out. And one of them said, fuck it, I'm gone. Probably Shawn
That's what
Layden.
it sounds like. For sure.
And like, so most people, when they leave a company on good terms, especially if they're like retiring, Shawn Layden's on the older side. I think he's like 58,
Been there for 30
something
years.
like that. Not quite 60, which is, yeah. I think he's like 58, mid to late 50s. And Japanese tradition is at 60 you retire, which is another person at the same time in Sony Japan retired at 60. So be like, oh, maybe he's being like, he's just retiring. No, they gave that other guy like an actual like, enjoy your retirement.
Yeah.
It's been lovely being with you. And Shawn Layden got diddly shit. So I'm really interested to see where Shawn Layden ends up, because he's not going to be at Sony. He's not pulling a Reggie. I honestly, I kind of hope he's either going to Xbox or
Yeah, there was some
Stadia.
debate that he might be going to Stadia. But who knows? Yeah.
It could be either one. Like, if he's going to Stadia, he could for sure build out their first-party games initiative. If he's going to Xbox, he could hopefully wrangle their first-party games to actually be good. Instead of, you know, the historical past, like, 10 years of Xbox first-party games. So that'd be great. Either way, I think Shawn Layden's going to go on to do more great things for whatever's left of his career. And Sony, we'll see if they hurt or not, because there's some shuffling going around. Across
like
all
we were saying, this happened
executives,
about 10 days ago, and they still haven't
we'll
filled his position. So who knows?
Still no word. The
Shuhei
obvious
Yoshida.
choice is Shuhei, but we'll, like, seeing as how it's been 10 days and they haven't said shit, I'm not convinced they're going to pick
Maybe
Shuhei.
he doesn't want it. I don't know. Which would be weird, but who knows? Mark, you're up next. Which topic are we going to hear from you?
Oh, God. I'm going to go with Google Stadia will reportedly have negative latency.
No, you can't.
What? What are you talking? Oh, shit. My latency must have made me miss.
Okay, I'll give you a point for that joke. That was good. Which...
I'm a big fan of Game Pass, and there's two stories here that have to do with.
Yeah, Game Pass is rad.
You know what? I'm not very familiar with PlayStation Now's service. I'm much more familiar with Game Pass, so I don't know.
Hey, talk about Oxenfree.
Let's go with Red Dead Redemption
neither
2
of those
coming to
things.
PC. Yeah, I haven't played Oxenfree, oddly enough. I hereby, yeah. Let's go with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Take it away.
All right. So earlier this week, Rockstar has finally announced that Red Dead Redemption 2 is finally coming to PC on November 5th. Thank God. Oh, and man, the Steam's gonna be so happy when. Oh wait, what? It's coming to only to Rockstar's. What? Rockstar's own service? Oh, Rockstar Game Launchers. What? Oh, Rockstar, what are you doing? basically they're making another stupid game launcher to have people install to play their games that won't have any of the features that everyone expects already to be in there, such as a friends list, cloud saves, achievements. Though it looks like it is going to be only a timed exclusive on there. However, it is pretty cool that they are adding stuff to the game, like new bounty hunter missions. Looks like they're adding gang hideouts and stuff, which that's cool. I'm curious to know if they are going to add those to the console versions of the game as well. Apparently the install is going to be huge.
It's like 150 gigabytes,
for the game,
right?
Which, yeah, something like that. It's crazy.
I think it's bigger than that. I think it's upwards of like 80 or 90. It's big.
It's real big. I mean, it was 2 discs on the Xbox and PlayStation. 2 Blu-ray discs, I should say.
So it's bigger than 50. Single layer Blu-ray holds 50
sorry.
gigs.
I said 150.
Exactly.
Oh,
Not that
no,
big?
it's not
Yeah.
that big.
I'm full of shit.
Either way, modern games take up a lot of space. Although to be fair, I actually just beat Red Dead Redemption 2 literally last night. It definitely earns every bit of space that it takes up. It's probably one of the few games that I describe as a novel.
It sure reads like one.
Instead of it just being it absolutely reads like a novel. It has a nice slow build, and then when it gets into the
then it slows down real hard again for about 20 hours.
Oh yeah, it does. It slows down real hard, and you get that little.
And then you say, why force myself to play the rest of this game when I could just watch the ending cutscene on YouTube? And that's what you do.
That's right. Although I will say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. As annoyed as I was by how I did thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. Is Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to the PC. I guess the biggest takeaway is Rockstar's new service. To be fair, I believe they're giving out one of the Grand Theft Autos for free on it.
They're
one of the older ones.
They're doing lots of things to incentivize people to pick it up on their launcher, which obviously they're going to take more of the profits. Whereas if they went to Steam, they would only get, I think, like 25%. So.
Yeah, Steam.
They're gonna sell enough. They're gonna sell a certain amount. You discount.
Yeah. Red Dead's gonna sell.
I have a question. If any of you know the answer, does GTA 5 on Steam open the Rockstar launcher like the Ubisoft games open Uplay?
It did not at first, but I believe they patched it, so now it does.
He is correct.
Okay, so they're gonna try and milk that shit. Okay.
Yes. An interesting thing, people were actually really mad when they added that feature to Grand Theft Auto 5 because it broke the ability to play the game offline, which means you couldn't access your modded files if you had a modded.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Because there was no way to play the game offline.
It also corrupted a shitload of saves.
Oh, saves.
That would piss me off more.
Last but not least, Dapper Dastard. Final topic. Take us home, please.
All right, so we're going to end on something a little, pretty unsexy, but we're just going to talk about it.
Don't talk about yourself like that.
So, hey! I like that.
Give yourself a point, Kaiser.
No, I want to hit on one of our topics is Mixer, the streaming platform that Ninja switched over to from Twitch. There's just been some quarter 2 and quarter 3 numbers on it, and I just want to talk about it briefly because I think a lot of people are very used to Twitch being the only place to stream games, and as a free market works, it's very healthy if there's competition. So Ninja's big move to Mixer is one of the things that has a potential for sort of opening up the market. But as the numbers show, after a very large increase of viewers following Ninja's move over to Mixer, it seems that the numbers have sort of stabilized, and now Mixer has had about 12% decline in concurrent
That's pretty
views
rough.
over the last quarter, while Twitch, surprisingly enough, has had a 5% uptick in total hours watched in the same time period. So, again, there's a lot of talk that maybe with the biggest streamer switching platforms, there was some chance for Twitch's sort of hold on being the only streaming platform might be challenged, but it seems that we've sort of had a bit of a stabilization, which is probably what people expected. The move would certainly generate a lot of buzz and then die down, but it looks like it might be a little bigger than people expected. And the fact that Twitch continued to increase viewership in the same time period sort of shows that for the time being, we are generally going to be stuck with Twitch's inconsistent modding and inconsistent punishment system when it comes to watching our favorite streamers. Because I personally would have loved for someone to sort of force Twitch to change its ways, but it doesn't look like it's going to, because Twitch is a bit of a mess with how it moderates itself. But
for sure,
alas,
there was a.
It seems, alas,
there was
it seems
actually
we're stuck with Twitch.
an article I almost put on this week where for a short period of time there was actually a live shooting that was being broadcast on Twitch earlier this week, which is just like, you guys
somehow it happened again.
You guys.
Somehow this is not literally this is not the first time this has happened.
Yep.
Somehow it happened again.
It's pretty buck wild, but I think that's going to do it for this week. Dapper, Fisher King, and Remarkable Me, it's time to go home and become a family man, because our week's winner is Mizuki.
All right.
Mizuki, are you ready for your minute to win it? All right.
Yeah,
take
sure.
it
Why not?
away.
For my minute to win it, well, my minute to win it is brought to you by Free Hong Kong # boycott Blizzard. So, as evidenced for the first probably 3/4 of the stream, Blizzard's being a shithole right now. Hold them accountable. Hold every company accountable for their stupid ass Hong Kong bullshit and China bullshit. Hold our government accountable for our stupid Hong Kong China bullshit. And yeah, you know what? Vote. That's the other thing. What do I got? In a completely unrelated note, Extra Life coming up beginning of November. I'm gonna be streaming on November 9th for 24-30 hours straight. Haven't decided, something in between there. So come check me out. extra-life.org/Mizuki to donate, and I got a stream link on there, and yeah, come check it out.
You heard it here first. Mizuki hates China. I got nothing. I had nothing to put that back in with. But thank you very much for watching this week's Around the Monitor. Anything to plug this week, guys? Apart from the plug Mizuki just did?
Bit.ly.com/
Yeah, I actually just went there right before the show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Dapper, is your mic off?
Dapper, you're muted.
I'd like to give a shout out to Magic the Gathering Arena if you want an alternative to Hearthstone, Paladins if you want an alternative to Heroes of the Storm, Final Fantasy 14 if you want an alternative to WoW, anything else that's not owned by Blizzard. Just there's a lot of alternatives. There's a lot of those companies might also be shitty, but at least right now they are objectively much less shitty. So there's a lot of things you can play instead of anything Blizzard.
And Remarkable Me.
People watching World of Warcraft on Twitch, the 13,000 watching Hearthstone, and the 11,000 watching Overwatch. You disgust me.
Stop.
And last but not least, Mark, anything to plug?
I don't really have too much to plug. I mean, I'm a disgusting Blizzard shill. I eat Chick-fil-A still. Let's see what other. I don't really eat KFC, but I don't like KFC. Oh wait, which chicken place is the racist one? Is it?
Oh,
KFC, or is it No,
All right,
take place
both,
guys,
homophobic,
fucking
not
out of
racist.
here. Thank you.
What? I'm still gonna play World of
Warcraft.
Warcraft.
You disgust me.
Maybe the next video on Around the Monitor's YouTube channel will be the rise and fall of Activision Blizzard. So we'll see about that.
God, that would be a dream. Absolutely goddamn come true.
But until next week, important to note, it's probably gonna be Wednesday next week because I have plans. So does Fisher.
Look at this guy.
They're with me.
Having
But,
plans.
Wow.
We'll figure it out
Fuck
then.
this guy.
Yeah.
I didn't think
Thank you
about
very
that,
much for
but,
watching,
yeah.
and we'll see you next week again. For this time, this has been Around the Monitor.